She stood on stage with confidence, diamonds glittering, designer dress flowing. The crowd of thousands hung on her every word as she promised them the future of money. "Bitcoin is just the beginning," she declared. "OneCoin will be the cryptocurrency that changes everything." The applause was thunderous. Nobody suspected they were witnessing the birth of one of history's greatest cryptocurrency frauds. Dr. Ruja Ignatova, the woman they called the Crypto Queen.
This network was created to become and to fuel the growth of OneCoin, which I strongly believe will be the #1 cryptocurrency worldwide.
Vanished into thin air in 2017, taking with her over $4 billion from investors worldwide. But how did a brilliant Oxford-educated lawyer fool so many people? And what was the blueprint behind OneCoin's massive pyramid scheme? This is the story of Ruja Ignatova and the cryptocurrency that never existed. But before we dive into this incredible story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. It really helps us bring you more incredible stories like this one. And don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss our latest videos. The Making of a Queen. Ruja Ignatova was born in Bulgaria in 1980, the daughter of an engineer father and a teacher mother. When she was 10, her family immigrated to Germany, where she excelled academically. She earned a PhD in European private law from the University of Constance, then a master's degree from Oxford University. By her early 30s, Ruja had built an impressive resume. She worked at prestigious consulting firm McKinsey & Company, then moved to Wall Street, where she specialized in European fund management. She was brilliant, ambitious, and knew how to command a room. But legitimate success wasn't enough. In 2014, Ruja co-founded OneCoin with Swedish businessman Sebastian Greenwood. They claimed to have created a revolutionary new cryptocurrency that would surpass Bitcoin. There was just one problem. OneCoin was never actually a cryptocurrency. The blueprint of deception. Unlike Bitcoin, which operates on a public blockchain that anyone can verify, OneCoin existed only in a private database controlled by Ruja and her team. There was no mining, no blockchain technology, no peer-to-peer network. It was digital monopoly money dressed up with sophisticated marketing. But Ruja understood something crucial about human psychology. People don't invest in technology, they invest in stories. And she told the most compelling story in the cryptocurrency world. OneCoin wasn't just marketed as an investment, it was sold as a movement. Ruja positioned herself as a visionary, fighting against the traditional banking system. She promised her investors they would be part of a financial revolution that would make them wealthy beyond their dreams.
Most of them are not very liquid, not very big, but it doesn't matter. But a lot of them are decentralized. Now, what does this mean? That there are many miners out there who mine the coin.
The business model was classic pyramid scheme with a cryptocurrency twist. Investors couldn't buy OneCoin directly. Instead, they purchased educational packages ranging from €100 to over €100,000. These packages supposedly contained cryptocurrency trading education, but in reality, they were just entry tickets into the pyramid. For every package sold, the seller received a commission. The bigger the package, the bigger the commission. Investors were incentivized to recruit friends, family, and colleagues. The more people they brought in, the more money they made. To maintain the illusion, Ruja created fake mining operations. She claimed OneCoin was being mined just like Bitcoin, but the mining was completely fabricated. Her team would generate random numbers and assign them to investor accounts, creating the appearance of cryptocurrency production. The theater of legitimacy.
I think you all have been tracking our growth of OneCoin for the last years. Our company is about 2 years old, and we mined the first OneCoin on the 20th of January.
What made OneCoin different from obvious scams was the sophisticated theater Ruja created around it. She didn't operate from a basement or a shady office. OneCoin had sleek headquarters in Sofia, Bulgaria, and offices around the world. Ruja herself was the perfect spokesperson. With her Oxford education, consulting background, and polished presentation skills, she looked exactly like what investors expected a cryptocurrency innovator to look like. She spoke at major conferences, gave interviews to financial media, and mingled with legitimate business leaders. The company organized lavish events around the world. These weren't sales meetings. They were celebrations. Investors were treated like VIPs, attending conferences in luxury hotels, where Ruja would take the stage like a rock star. The atmosphere was electric, filled with testimonials from early investors who claimed to have made fortunes. OneCoin even created its own exchange called XCoinX, where investors could theoretically trade their coins. Of course, the exchange was completely fake, displaying artificial prices and volumes, but it gave investors the illusion that their OneCoin holdings were real and valuable. The company hired professional actors to pose as successful OneCoin traders at events. They would give emotional testimonials about how OneCoin had changed their lives, how they had quit their jobs and were now living luxuriously off their crypto profits. The network effect. Ruja understood that the best salespeople are satisfied customers. She created a multi-level marketing structure that turned every investor into a recruiter. The most successful promoters became leaders, with special titles, bonuses, and recognition. These leaders weren't just earning commissions. They were building their own empires within the OneCoin ecosystem. Some made hundreds of thousands of dollars recruiting new investors. They had expensive cars, luxury vacations, and lifestyle upgrades that served as powerful testimonials to other potential investors. The social proof was overwhelming. When someone's friend, colleague, or family member was visibly successful with OneCoin, it was hard to resist joining. The fear of missing out was intense, especially as Ruja regularly announced that OneCoin's price was rising and that early entry windows were closing. The scheme spread like wildfire across the globe. It was particularly successful in developing countries where people had limited access to traditional investment opportunities and were eager to participate in the cryptocurrency boom they'd heard about but couldn't access. But behind the scenes, Ruja was living like a queen. She purchased a luxury penthouse in London, expensive jewelry, and designer clothing. She traveled the world in private jets, all funded by her victims' money. The cracks begin to show. By 2016, OneCoin had raised over $4 billion from investors worldwide, but maintaining the illusion was becoming increasingly difficult. Cryptocurrency experts were asking hard questions about OneCoin's technology. Where was the blockchain? Why couldn't OneCoin be traded on legitimate exchanges? Ruja tried to deflect these questions by attacking her critics. She claimed that traditional cryptocurrency advocates were threatened by OneCoin's success and were spreading FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. She positioned herself as David fighting against the Goliath of established cryptocurrency interests. But the pressure was mounting. Investors who had been promised they could cash out their OneCoin holdings found themselves unable to do so. The fake exchange had withdrawal limits that made it nearly impossible to convert OneCoin back to real money. Regulators in multiple countries began investigating OneCoin. In late 2016, Italy's financial regulator issued a warning about the scheme. Other European regulators followed suit. The walls were closing in. The Vanishing Act. On October 25, 2017, Ruja Ignatova boarded a Ryanair flight from Sofia to Athens. It was the last time she was seen in public. Just days before her disappearance, she had been informed that she was about to be indicted by U.S. authorities on charges of wire fraud, securities fraud, and money laundering. Rather than face justice, she chose to vanish. Her disappearance sent shockwaves through the OneCoin community. Investors who had trusted her with their life savings suddenly realized they had been betrayed. The company tried to continue operating without her, but the scheme quickly collapsed. In March 2019, U.S. authorities unsealed an indictment charging Ruja with multiple felonies. She was added to the FBI's 10 most wanted list with a $100,000 reward for information leading to her arrest. The aftermath and legacy. The OneCoin collapse left hundreds of thousands of victims worldwide. Unlike traditional investment frauds where assets can sometimes be recovered, OneCoin's victims lost everything. There were no real investments to liquidate, no assets to distribute, just empty digital wallets and broken dreams. Ruja's co-conspirators faced justice. Sebastian Greenwood was extradited to the United States and sentenced to 20 years in prison. Other key figures in the scheme received significant prison sentences, but the mastermind herself remains at large.
Again, Diane, and he will explain and tell you everything about the audit, about our blockchain, whatever you always wanted to know about this. Thank you very much.
As of today, Ruja Ignatova remains one of the world's most wanted fugitives. The FBI continues to hunt for the crypto queen, but with each passing year, the trail grows colder. She may never face justice in a courtroom, but her legacy serves as a permanent warning. The OneCoin pyramid blueprint showed the world how quickly trust can be weaponized, how sophisticated fraud can become, and how devastating the consequences can be when financial innovation meets criminal ambition. Ruja Ignatova promised her investors the future of money. Instead, she gave them a masterclass in how easily that future can be stolen.